Hey guys, it's David here, and it's currently day 279, I believe. I hope you guys had a good day and are doing better than yesterday. But the time is currently 6:02. So, woke up a little bit later than usual, which is totally fine because I'm gonna get up now and get into my first work block. I'm gonna shower, don't eat any food, and just get right into it. And hopefully I can stay like that until 11 a.m., which is when I have to go to the work. And after that, I'll come back and self-reflect because that is what I do on Sundays. But at the moment, that is the goal. But at the moment, I am definitely a bit more sleepy. I just got up, had an amazing dream last night, so I didn't really want to get up. But I understood that I have priorities, and sleeping isn't really on top of my priorities. So I have to get up and do what I said I was going to do the day before. So let's not waste my time. Let's not waste a single moment of our valuable time and get right into it. Because although initially you might not want to do anything, like at the moment I want to sleep, but I know doing so won't make me feel better. Doing so will only make the inevitable more difficult because we will have to face it eventually, and by doing so, it's going to be uncomfortable. But the thing is, when we start doing it, our fear, our pain starts to diminish. And that is something you have to understand. Our pain and fears will never stick with us forever. But matter of fact, if we choose to avoid our fears, then we're going to have more of it. If we choose to avoid our shame, then we are going to have more of it. The only way to kill it, to make it go away, is to do it, is to put ourselves one step in front of the other. Because doing so will make us realize that the thing we are trying to avoid was never that bad in the first place. That being said, I'm gonna clean up and I'll see you guys in a bit. So, guys, it is currently 10 a.m. at the moment, so about an hour before I head off to my shift. It's going to be exciting because you'll meet new people at work, and most importantly, I and you might improve on your social skills, which you're lacking, which is something you're avoiding. And a lot of the times, I have overcompensated myself for my lack of social skills by admitting to myself that maybe I don't need to be so social and that being social is a complete waste of time. And quite frankly, that isn't the truth. Sometimes we choose to overcompensate for our failures, for our weaknesses, because we don't want to admit that we are inferior in those areas. It's like thinking that you don't need women in your life when you're just shy to approach a girl. But in reality, you know that you want a woman. You know you want a girlfriend, but you just are too shy to approach that lady. So this comes to show with a lot of stuff in life. We overcompensate for things that we're lacking, and we overcompensate for things that we are already good at. So we do more of what we're comfortable with, but then we never improve on what we need to improve on. And why is this important? Because a lot of the times we have this false illusion that we are competent, that we are an okay person because we have done all right in life. When in reality, we have a lot of mistakes we have made, we have a lot of bad behaviors, we have a lot of bad habits, and a lot of weaknesses that we don't admit to ourselves because we think, well, they are not important, so why bother improving on them? And the thing is, by deluding ourselves into this belief, we don't actually become better than yesterday. By deluding ourselves in this belief, we don't focus on the things we need to be focusing on. We don't focus on improving in our communication skills. We don't focus on training our legs because we think it's unimportant. When in reality, those are the things we don't want to do, either because they are hard or because they are uncomfortable or because they are unfamiliar and we don't know how to do them. And the thing is, if we don't ever improve on these areas we're lacking, then how can we ever improve in life? How can you get better at business if you don't coco? How can you get better to have a overall amazing physique if you don't train your legs? We always want to do the things that we're most comfortable with, but never attack the problem that we need to improve on. And I didn't just wake up this morning and say, you know what, let's just read for an hour before I go do my shit, because reading is self improvement, right? And of course, that is self improvement. But why would I do something that's easy when I have something more difficult that is more rewarding? And what I mean by that is eventually, if you improve on the areas you're lacking, you're going to improve as a whole. And sometimes the thing that's holding you back from reaching this new height in life is the thing that you suck the most. So if you focus most of your energy on improving the thing you suck at, then life will get better. Because no longer are you avoiding something forever. No longer are you putting this important task off till later. Because all you are doing when you are procrastinating, when you are putting off or delaying the things you fear, then the more fear you are going to accumulate over time. And eventually that fear may feel so much, that accumulated worry may be so much, that you end up not doing it at all. And you leave this incompetence just laying in the back of your head that's going to bother you forever. And this perhaps is the cause of unhappiness. Although it is not the direct cause of unhappiness, I can say for sure from my personal experience that if you delay your purpose, if you delay something that's important, then you're going to get more unhappy. You're going to feel something is missing in life. And sometimes what's missing is you not experiencing enough stress, you not experiencing enough failures. Because once you don't experience enough failures and distress, you get too comfortable. And when the littlest thing in life goes wrong, when things goes out of your control, that's going to distort you to the point where you start breaking down, where you start complaining, where you start worrying about life. Because how would you not if you had never gone through the pain, if you had never gone through the stress in the first place? So putting yourself in this uncomfortable position isn't to just get better in life, to build your character so you can endure harder challenges when the time and moment comes. But take one step at a time, like I am doing so with my project. As you can see, I do have two more things to implement in my project to create my second project from coding. However, I haven't yet attended to these problems as I am focusing on improving my skills in learning how to overcome those problems. But eventually, I think I'll complete them because that is my goal and I'll get to it because that is how we measure growth is to tick off the things we said we were going to do, and that to us should be an achievement noteworthy of success. But with that being said, I need to focus on getting better at what I am not already. And although this is very uncomfortable, although this is something a lot of us don't enjoy, what I also realize is once you do something that you don't enjoy, eventually you'll get familiar with the feeling of discomfort. Now, I'm not saying that once you get familiar, the feeling of discomfort will vanish, that you'll stop being scared to attack your failures, that you'll stop being afraid of rejection. But all I'm saying is you can better manage your emotions. You can better control how you feel and how you react. And that it is almost like a magical power because in essence you have control over yourself then, which does feel like that the failures, that the rejection don't bother you as much. And sometimes that is all we have to understand is that no matter what we do in life, we can't just shut our emotions off because we are still emotional creatures. But what we can do is have this competence of controlling how we choose to react so that we don't freak out, so that we don't have a panic attack. Understand that we are going to feel like this no matter what happens, and the only thing we can do is to get better. And once you get better at something, life will become better. But that being said, this morning has been an amazing start so far because I choose to stay in the discomfort zone. So I hope you guys make the discomfort choice too, because anything that is pleasure focused, anything that is pleasure orientated is only going to make you more weaker. And we don't want to be weak. We don't want to be worse than yesterday because we are only getting older by the day. So I'll see you guys in a bit. So guys, another day and another time. It is currently 4:05. So it's been 2 hours since I came back from my shift, and I gotta say it is another one, amazing one, because I love going to work, not because I love making money, because you get paid shithole, but simply because I have the intention to go there and improve on my social skills. Now, this is a part of my purpose. This is a part of my reasoning of life is to improve better than yesterday, is to get better every single day. Because I do believe if we control our mind, we can accomplish anything we want in life. And a part of that is to really build up my social skills, is to improve on this pillar which I lacked in before. It is one of my weaknesses which I have been avoiding for a long time. And I'm just glad I had this opportunity to improve on it, which is why I think work at the moment has been tolerable. because I have this different intention that made it all just doable. And I gotta say that for me, guys, it is very important to really find a different reason behind any external factors. Like if you go to work, find some other reason than be motivated for the money. If you're going to the gym, find some other reasons than to just look good or do it for the girls. You have to find some other reason than for any external factors. Because if you based on what you do and you have this drive based on external factors, then when you lose motivation, when challenging times comes, you're more easily to give up, you're more easily to give in because you have no other reason greater than your own selfishness and needs that you want in life. And once things gets hard, you're going to throw the flag looking for something else to fill that void, to fill that need. And I'm saying this because a lot of the times, guys, well, almost all times, when I had failed on something, it's simply because I was focusing on external factors. Now, you guys may say, well, I'm just undisciplined, that I'm just lazy, that I am a quitter. And you can say all you want, but all I can say is from my experience, the only things that I managed to sustain is when I have found a reason beyond myself. Is when I have found a deeper purpose of me doing it. But I'm not saying that you have to find this reason before you start anything, because then you may just be chasing perfectionism. But what I am saying is no matter what you're doing right now, if it is something you truly want to do, if it is something you truly want to do for the rest of your life, then congrats to you. Perhaps you found your purpose, but you may not have any deeper reason, or you may not have any rational thought over why you are doing this besides that it's a good pay, or that you like the industry, or you like the career, or even that you like this woman, which is why you pursue her. Like all of these reasons, we are not sure why we love it or why we do it, but rather we just do it because we don't question it. But coming back to finding this internal reason for you to do something, of course, at the beginning, we all focus on external factors. We go to work for the pay. We go to the gym to hopefully get a boyfriend or girlfriend one day. We all focus on external factors. Now, these are going to be momentary motivations for you to start these habits, for you to start this journey in life. However, eventually, it is recommended from me that you find an internal reason, something bigger than yourself, your purpose for you to sustain this. Because any long term success, any success in that matter of noteworthiness, is that you can sustain it for a long period of time. Sustaining it for a long period of time while also improving every single day and get better than yesterday. And if you can do so, then nothing in this world will be impossible for you because eventually you will get there. But to sustain that routine, to sustain this habit, to sustain this lifestyle, you need a reason greater than your own selfish need. And whatever that is, I cannot tell you. That is something you have to find yourself. Which is why a lot of these self improvement videos or channels just give you these quick fix band aid solutions saying that if you want to stay focused, turn your phone off, throw your phone away, delete social media and so on. Yes, they work, guys. They totally work. They work in the moment to give you that instant high of satisfaction that you had done something in life. And it is because of those little wins that we manage to build up long-term success. However, to have long-term success, we have to have a better strategy. We have to have a more personalized strategy. And that is something, unfortunately, not one person can tell you through a screen. That is not something I can tell you. All I can say and suggest for you is to find that over your own life, is to find that over your own unique journey. But just know to sustain this, to sustain and perhaps one day have long term and exponential success, you have to find your purpose. You have to live up to your vision. And whatever that is, you have to do the self discovery. You have to go through the failures, you have to go through the mud, walk through the fire, and eventually you will get there. But just know that is the only way thus far to sustain a lifestyle. That is the only way thus far to make something dull, something tedious, and something you don't want to do into your passion, into something you love doing. That being said, I am going to go start my second work block now. Coming back, I am a little bit drained, but this isn't going to stop me from doing what I know I want to do. Because it's by doing these little things every single day, despite how we feel, we then can become better. We then can be the person that we hope we know we are. I'll see you guys in a bit.
So, guys, it is currently 8:12, and it is about that time of the day where we wrap up. But being Sunday, I had done my self reflection just a few minutes ago, and normally what I do is pretty basic. I write down my day to day task throughout the week, so when I wake up and all the way to when I finished. But lately, I had realized that my self reflection has become automatic, it has become repetitive, meaning I am not paying so much attention as to actually reflecting on why it is that this week was or went worse than last week, or why this week got better. And a lot of the times, although I write down what I do or what I want to do next week to improve, I rarely follow through with it. Why? Because I only open my self reflection book every single Sunday. So, as you can imagine, if you only look at something for once throughout the whole week, well, the chances of you actually doing it is unlikely. So, to have this repetition of looking at your goals, looking at the things you want to do every single day, increases the chance of you doing it. But obviously, recently I have noticed a dip in my productivity and my efficiency. Therefore, I took the extra time today and extra caution to come up with a new plan, a new strategy to really implement next week to see hopefully a greater result in my efficiency and productivity. So I had taken the time to plan out a strategy, a goal, something that is based on probable concepts that I had learned from this course, Learn How to Learn by Barbara Oakley. And at the moment, this is the plan thus far. It is obviously a sketch so far, but on the left side, as you guys can see, we have some techniques, and we have different techniques and different kind of intervals as to when I want to practice them. And I want to implement this in when I learn my code, because I had realized that my intention rate for learning how to code and learning how to program hasn't been so great recently. And that is simply because I am rushing through everything, hoping that I can fit everything in my tiny mind so that I could go on and build this grandson project that will help every single person in the world. But sometimes I have to face reality. And the truth is, if I want to do that, then I might just have to learn everything. Of course, not every single nuance, but at least understand how to write something, like how to write, how to capture user input, how to get people to collect their data, and so on and so forth. Even at the moment, I can't really explain what other functions there really is that I want to build for my program, but that obviously means I have more areas to improve in. But other than that, other than writing down a plan on how I want to break my 3 hours into six little chunks of Pomodoros, where I spend 30 minutes in undivided focus and 5 minutes to go in this diffuse mode to let my mind relax, drift off, and kind of wander off to some other place instead of the work I was focusing on before, and using techniques like flashcards, callback, and deliberate practice, meaning that you practice something deliberately that is very hard so that you don't avoid the hard things and only focusing on what you already had competence over. So these strategies will definitely be implemented into next week's project, into next week's workflow. Why? Because I'm going to stick that shit up on my wall where I can see it every single day. But apart from that, also, guys, I did another deeper self assessment on why it is that lately I have been unproductive and what I can do to build efficiency and what the results may come from it to increase my productivity. And I realized a lot of things that has caused my unfocus, and that is my conscious state of mewing, where I worry about if I am mewing correctly. Now, mewing, if you guys don't know, is when you put your tongue on the top of your roof to pretty much give you a better jawline. Well, that's the false concept of mewing, but mewing really helps you breathe better as it opens a pathway through your nose or something that helps you breathe. I'm not too sure about the biological aspect of it, but it certainly does help you breathe better if you can do it correctly. But I have just been too conscious about it, which allow me to distract myself much more easily, and so much of my distraction is the result of whether I am mewing correctly. And another really attention grabbing thing is looking at my jawline. Looking at my jawline, even though sometimes it is non existent, I worry too much about my jawline. I worry too much whether I have a double chin or not. And that is simply because I mew too much, right? I'm conscious of mewing, and therefore I'm conscious of my jawline. Because even though mewing doesn't take away any fat from your face, as you guys can see right now, if I don't put my tongue on the top of my roof, it kind of dips down. But when I do, it goes up. And that's simply because no, you're not building more muscles, etc., but you're only resting your tongue on the top of your roof, which causes your skin to naturally lift up. But by doing so, by first of all worrying about if I'm mewing correctly, and second of all worrying about my jawline, those two come intertwined and play with each other in distracting myself. Because if I'm not mewing correctly, then I have a double chin. If I don't have a double chin, then I have to forcefully mew, which therefore distract my attention drastically. It is totally a mental energy time sink. And third of all, perhaps the most distracting thing happening to me recently also is to be so self-conscious about my teeth. And I know all this probably sounds like that I am unconfident or insecure about my facial structures, and sometimes that may have just been the case. Obviously we like to look good. Once you lose a lot of body fat, you kind of get obsessed with how you look, right? You go on a cut, you lose all that fat, you get abs, you get ripped, and you kind of just wish you stay the same like that forever. Now, obviously, at the moment, I am bulking, but I am trying to do a lean bulk. However, putting on just more chubbiness around your face, around your tummy, etc., is definitely not an ideal way to go with your self confidence, right? But obviously, if you have internal love for yourself, then this external things should not bother you. But either way, guys, if you get fat, if you start getting chubby, you're still going to care to some degree. But obviously, by reassessing why I feel such way, why I'm insecure about my teeth, and so on, I have pretty much listed down my actions, my behaviors related to emotions, right? So I'm mewing, or I'm afraid if I'm mewing correctly because I am, first of all, feeling worried, and I am looking at my jawline and looking at my teeth, or being conscious of my teeth because they're not straight, right? And those lead to the feeling of insecurities. So when I break down my actions, right, why I am being unproductive, why I am getting distracted so easily into emotions, like why, first of all, what is the feeling that made me do these things, I then managed to suck them down even more into actions, into things that I can do, that I can change to prevent this from happening again. And basically, what I wrote down here for the things that I can control and the things that I can change is, first of all, that I want to spend more time to build familiarity with the difficult things that I find trouble learning and trouble understanding. And we're actually reassessing my results at a weekly basis rather than a momentary fluctuation of my emotions, meaning that I shouldn't focus on how I feel and don't let my feelings dictate whether I am improving or not. So, like a weekly fluctuation, only measure your results on a weekly standard. And even though with everything I am doing at the moment, I understand that I will fail. I understand I will fail, but through failure gives me the opportunity to get better at what I do. So this pretty much has been the self-reflection of today, is to understand what I am doing at the moment and the emotion behind it. Why do I do it? Why am I self-conscious? Why am I worrying about the things that I always have bothered me? And once you understand these emotions, you can then really think to yourself, well, how can I stop this from happening? How can I worry less about my jawline? How can I worry less about my insecurities? You first have to understand by writing down what you can control, what you can do, and see if this is something you can actually change. Can you change the way you look? Can you change if your teeth are perfectly straight? Now, I'm sure you can do that. You can get braces. You can obviously improve on your facial structures by doing exercises. These are everything that's in your control. But the trick is, once you dilute your emotions into applicable actionable steps, you can then make a change to the things that has been worrying you, the things that have been distorted you. So instead of focusing on emotions like I feel sad, I feel worried, I'm anxious, I'm insecure, I'm unconfident, I'm afraid of losing, doing the self reflection allows you to reflect on your life and find actionable steps and understand that you can control these things. And although some things that you may not be able to control, well, through self reflection, you understand that. You'll revelate the things you can and can't control. And what I can suggest is obviously make the change if you can't control it, because then you're going to fix the problems. You're going to fix the underlying problems, which will make you feel better. But with the things that you can't control, well, once you realize that, I hope you guys can accept that and move on in life. That there's absolutely nothing that you can change about this fact, so there's no reason to beat you down more. Right? If you can't change this, then you just have to accept it. And once you accept that, life goes on as normal. But always remember that if you can do it, if you can change it, then go ahead and do it. Because if you do, you're going to feel much better. Not because you had done more for yourself, but rather you feel in control of your life and you had rooted out the negative emotions that have been sucking away your mental energy. That being said, this has been a Sunday. It has been a wonderful one because I had taken the time, the extra care to do this self reflection. And to that, I am very grateful of it. But I do hope you guys had an amazing weekend and have done just a little bit of self reflection. But if not, always do some now. 10 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes. Heck, even just a second. Just do a little bit every day, well, once a week, and you'll realize that all your problems are solvable. All your problems are in your control. So making the change today means understanding yourself more by the second. That being said, I hope you guys had learned something from this, but if not, like always, I'll be here for you guys tomorrow. But until then, good night.